Hey, we're playing Mystic Vale. Thank you for advanced code and all that. Actually, I don't know if it's advanced. I don't remember. Anyway, this game may or may not be out. I haven't checked yet. So I've actually played this game before in life, in real, because this is a tabletop game. So somebody actually brought it over to one of our tabletop nights. So I've encountered it before, and it's interesting to see it come out as an app, as a game on Steam and maybe other platforms. That's single player, because it actually addresses one of the points I had about Mystic Vale, which is why is it multiplayer, was basically my takeaway from playing Mystic Vale. Generally speaking, when you play a tabletop game, you're usually directly competing with each other in a direct way, like you must defeat those other players, or if you're not directly attacking each other, maybe you're playing a game in parallel where you compete for the same resources and the same goals. Like in a game like, whatever that game is with all the gems and everything, where it's like you are drawing cards from the same deck, you're purchasing stuff off the field, where if somebody purchases it, other people can't purchase it, stuff like that. Or stuff like Suburbia, where you don't build, your buildings don't directly affect each other, you build 4 separate cities that are all separate from each other, but the amount of like airports you have affect the value of other people's airports, and your goals are things like have the highest population, which means you're competing with each other for the victory conditions, even if you're not directly playing with each other on a direct manner. So there's a lot of range for tabletop games where you can directly interact with each other and not directly interact with each other, but compete for having a good run and stuff like that. Mystic Vale seemed to have basically no, and I could be wrong because I was taught by somebody else and I've only played it once, but it really felt like you don't interact with the other players in any meaningful way, and it's just kind of, it becomes clear at the end, oh, someone won in their own private games. It's almost like 4 people role-playing Call of Duty on 4 separate runs, and then they were graded on who beat the level the best, basically, is what it felt like. So I'm really not bothered by the idea of this game being single-player. The learn to play button doesn't work, oh boy. Well then it's a good thing I already know how to play player 2 difficulty. Oh, look at all these players. Very easy to very hard. Okay. Let's stagger it a bit at least, alright? Let's make you slightly hard and you a little in the middle and whatever. Let these guys play out. This is a strange game. As 4 as the player max. As far as it's listed on the Steam page, it's single player. So as far as I can tell, the number of players they're adding are only AI players. So playing against the AI is fine, I suppose. So this game's interesting. It has a cool gimmick, which is that you play with these cards where you start off with like basically backgrounds for cards, and there's different resources in the game, and you're trying to build a deck, and deck builders are a common enough genre in tabletop, but in this game, this is a deck builder that features card building, in that you build the cards themselves. When you play the physical copy of this game, you have like those transparent, you have like those card protectors that are common enough for like people that play collectible card games. They cover the card in a little card protector and everything. What you do is you have these transparent cards that are like a third of a card, and you slip them over each other to cover the top, middle, or bottom of the card, and those things combine to build the entire card, and that's the actual characteristics of said card. And that's an interesting gimmick. Alright, planting phase. You must choose to either pass or push. If you want to pass, press the arrow button. This will move you immediately to your harvest phase. If you want to push, press the card button. This will place your on-deck card into the field and draw a new card onto your deck. Determine if you have spoiled. If you have 4 or more trees revealed, the spoil cards, the red tree. Oh, that's fitting because I'm finishing Deadly Premonition right now. The red tree is the bad thing. If you have 4, you spoil and you must end your turn. If you have not spoiled, go back to step 1 and repeat. So basically you just keep drawing and drawing and drawing, and it's a risk-reward system where you can keep drawing more cards, but you have to stop at the correct number of spoil cards or less, and then use whatever you drew so far. If you draw more than that, the idea is that you have to spend your hand, basically. So you're going to keep trying to draw more and more to get a better and better hand, but once you get to the edge of how many spoils you can have, like every single additional draw is a real gamble of like, maybe I'll get the hand that's just what I want, or maybe I'll have to throw away my hand and lose this entire turn because I drew too many spoils. So right now I have 3 spoil cards. Where's my deck? This is a... Oh, this is an interface to unpack without much context. Okay. It has the icon that means this is probably on phones too, judging by this visual. Okay. The Dawn Seekers, the Life Wardens, the Beast Brothers, planting phase. So I guess the takeaway there is I'm blue and these are the other 3 players and this is their hands right now. They all have hands already because in this game, strangely, you all draw in parallel with each other and you just take turns cashing in your hand right now. And so the primary loss is that if you spoil, you lose that turn. You have to skip a turn, and if you have to skip a turn, that means that everybody else is making more progress towards their victory, which, trying to remember exactly how victory works right now, but they're not really explaining it to me, and I don't have every single detail memorized right now, unfortunately. There's some stuff to parse. Oh, that's the deck. Okay, we're going left to right, I get it. So that is the deck right there. Every time we draw, these are sliding to the right. So I first drew this, then that, then that, then that, then that, then this. This is my 3rd spoil, which is likely why it stopped now, because it's asking, do you want to keep drawing and risk drawing a 4th spoil, or do you want to pass and do what you can with what you have right now? So at the moment, my hand has 1, 2, 3, 4 blue in it, and that much. Okay. Okay, sorry. There was no animation or intro or anything, so I gotta orient myself here. So here I think we're saying how many cards we have in the deck, which is 14. So somewhere throughout this deck there are X number of spoils, so if I draw another one I risk losing my hand. My goal here is that this is what we can buy. I had to figure out what we were looking at here for a second here. So this is the store in the middle of the screen, and this on the bottom is my hand. So everything up here we can buy if we have that many blue points. We currently have 4. So I can buy anything that's like that. And they all do very different things. Let's see. They'll do very different things. What's going on here? Oh, okay. They expanded the artwork. So here you can see where the card would fit in. So this one's a top card, that one's a middle card, that one's a bottom card, which in your hand it looks like this, top, middle, bottom of one card. And so it looks, normally the artwork doesn't fill the entire card like that, but they're showing us expanded artwork, which looks nice. So if I get this card, when it's played, you may discard any other card in your field. This is a good card, because if you have this in your hand, if it's in here, that means that you can get rid of a spoil card, for example, and just get rid of that entirely, letting it so you can keep drawing more cards. It itself, though, has no value, so that slot of the card will not be generating blue points or anything else. There's an additional layer of the store up on top, which is these other icons, which are these squares. Those are a different resource that's a bit harder to get, but also just shows up on cards when it shows up. And I need those in order to buy the ones up top. So there's kind of 2 separate stores happening at the same time. These top ones are usually higher risk reward, if I remember correctly. Or I just mean higher reward in general. Okay, so what do I want to start with here? This one's a bit interesting. It'll give me this shield icon, and it'll give me 2 of these, which I don't entirely remember what the distinctions are. But I can afford that with my 4 right now. So maybe worth grabbing. Here's the downside. This thing has a spoil on it. So while this is a cool card, if I buy it, it gives me a spoil that adds to my deck. But it's also generating that, which I believe is the victory points. I'm not entirely sure. I think these are the victory points right here. The cool view right there. Nice transparency interface and everything right here. I think those are victory points and those are something else. I've lost track a little bit. I wish stuff would explain itself when you highlight it. The shields also do something. I think you spend shields. It'd be helpful if something else here referred to them. Yeah, once per turn you may spend 2 blue to use any of those. Oh, that's handy. While in your field you have 1 less blue to spend. That sucks. That's a bummer. So it reduces how many blues you're worth, but it also can nullify a spoil. This is a green tree, so it counteracts a red tree. So one strategy is to take things like this and just put them on the red tree cards, and it nullifies the threat they pose. But then you have 2 slots of it being consumed. Like if I put this on here, then this gives me 1 less blue, that gives me 1 more blue, that gives me 1 more spoil, that gives me 1 less spoil. That just makes it a card that does nothing except have 1 open slot I can put something on. So it's a bit more of a disappointment. I'm gonna go... Fertile souls are also a good idea. They just give you more blue. Let's go ahead and over-invest on 1 card. How do I buy you, exactly? Oh, can I keep scrolling? Oh, there's way more on the field than I thought there was. Ah. The Dread Coil Cobra. So, there's some good and bad here. That's not a very well-centered image, is it? You can't see the snake's head. So this costs 7 to buy, so I can't buy this with my current hand, and probably not my current deck. This is something you'd buy later in the game when you've generated more points, but it's worth 4 points, which I believe this is your victory points you're trying to stock up to beat the other players. Meanwhile, this is a spoil, so that's the downside, is it's worth a lot of good if you have it, but it's also adding spoils to your deck. You don't want to get in trouble here and make your deck worse and worse. Gain 1 blue for every other card in your field. That lets you buy so much, but it's expensive to buy in the first place. Gain 1 victory point for every shield on this card. So there's where it matters how many shields you have. So this thing has its own shield, and it's a bottom tile thing. You can add a middle and top one to the same card, so you'd want to make sure that those other ones you build into that card later in the game also have shields on them to make this card more valuable. Like, this card is all about potential value. That's where the card building stuff really comes in and gets interesting. It's interesting. I think right now I want to avoid stuff that adds spoils to my decks, even if they would give me victory points, and I want to start off by getting things that actually help me continue. Search your deck for any card, and you may put it in your discard pile. Your deck will be shuffled. Ooh, that's good too. That lets you just discard a spoil just on the fly, but it'll use most of my hand right now. I'm gonna go with this one. You may discard any other card in your field. I like this one. It lets you discard a spoil. I just need to figure out how to buy it. Oh wait, I have to click pass, I believe. Or whoa, oh, it's a zoom in screen. Neat. And that cancels it back out. Okay. I don't know how to buy it. I think I'm just looking, so I think I need to hit pass first to indicate I don't want to draw anymore. The harvest phase is when you count up your blue and your spirit symbols and resolve harvest abilities, which means you use the thing that's on the card itself. You score those, so that, yeah, I was right about that. Buy Veil cards, buy advancements, up to 2 of each. Once you have finished the harvest, click on the, yeah, okay. So I decided that I wanted to buy this guy, which lets me discard anything bad on the field, basically. And I'm gonna want to put it on a more positive card, I think. Although I could put on one of these guys, and I could discard any other card in your field. So you can't discard the card it's on. So let's put it on you. Make a good card better. And that's how that works. I've built an additional layer onto a card, and you just keep looping. And it's basically a race. I think the way it works is there's a point cap. This is the other people playing. They're all picking what they want to buy. So there's a point cap, I believe, on how much you need to win. I think that might be the 33 right there, actually. And whoever reaches that first wins. You do not, as far as I remember, you just kind of don't directly interact. At most, you're kind of competing to buy stuff that's drawn up here. But as you can see, there's a lot of duplicates, so I didn't find that to be the most compelling variation on the game. Alright, so the game auto-draws until 3 spoils are on the field, and then you can risk it, like this. And I drew a 4th spoil, so I lose my turn. And that's why it can be a bad idea to do that. I thought I'd show you. So as a result, I missed my entire turn, and that's a bad time. Oh no. So this turn I drew 3 spoils on only 3, well, only 3 cards even had stuff on them. I'll keep it though. Let's try to draw something. A fertile soil will just add more. Oh, what's that do? On this turn, if you were to spoil, you may discard your on-deck card instead. Yeah. So if you have this and you're about to spoil, you can discard this card, the one that's currently on the deck, and draw something else. The next thing you draw might also still be a spoil, but it's worth a shot at least. I also like this. Cleansing Rain. I think I'm gonna grab that, because I have exactly 3 points to spend. Give me the option of removing a spoil from my upcoming deck and making future hands better. You won't see any of the cards. What's happening right here? Oh, so you don't see any of the cards that you're building until you finish your deck, which I think I just did. So now yeah, this is what I just drew. So I just drew the Harvester I made earlier, the one that lets me discard any card in my field. And also, oh wait, no, I just drew Cleansing Rain, the one I made a second ago. Looks like the deck's only 14 cards, so you get through it pretty quickly. And then loop back around. So Cleansing Rain lets me discard anything from my deck, and then shuffle my deck. So I'm gonna discard Cursed Land. So now this time as I go through my 14 card deck, or however the number is, I will not encounter that particular Cursed Land card until we loop back around. For this cycle, it's not there. Whoa, we took a long time to draw 3 spoils. But as you can see, most of these cards are just empty, unfortunately. So they kind of suck. So we drew 3 spoils in a row, all of which also have 1 blue on them. And then back here we drew 1 blue. That's the one I added earlier, because I think that's, yeah, that's the one I think that's the one I added earlier. Here's Cleansing Rain. Let's see. Search your deck for any card and put 3, yeah, that's the one we just used. Okay. But do I want to risk another one? No, I don't. So let's just keep this hand. The Field of Flowers. It's worth 2 blues, increasing the value of your hands. I have 3 whole blue points to spend, unfortunately, which is not a lot. I think I'm gonna go with Field of Flowers. It's worth double as many points as the Fertile Soil, and if I don't grab it, somebody else is going to nab it up pretty quickly. Let's try to put on one of the blank cards to increase the value of my average. Oh, I have to end my turn first. Wait, did I do? Shit, I think I just skipped my turn. I just accidentally skipped my turn. God damn it. I'm making interface mistakes. Enchant Chorus. Other advancements added to this card cost 2 less. That's a nice one. And I have a blank card to put it on. Let's do that. Do I drag it? There we go. That's what I meant. That's what I was supposed to do a moment ago. So what that means is that when I just made this card cheaper, so if I buy something for here and for here, it'll cost 2 less to put it on, increasing the value of my hand for that purpose. I straight up skipped my turn earlier. I got mixed up about whether I had already accepted yet. In the interface's defense, it does have a red icon at that point, so I should have not made that mistake. But I second-guessed myself. We got 3 of the worst thing in my deck right now. Great. Not off to a good start. All I can do is afford one of these guys on the side here. Cancel all but 1 red on this card. It's good for reducing additional spoils, but these cards only have 1 spoil on them. It could be a long game of, hey, I can put this on the card in the future. Because then, you know, I could really just dunk a really terrible thing on the last slot of one of these if that thing was on here. I'm gonna go for the Druid Peacekeeper after I accept. There we go. Give me the ability to discard the spoil. If you have the Druid Peacekeeper, if you draw your 4th spoil, you're safe in that you can discard that. So it gives you a mulligan, although you could still draw another spoil, which is bad. So we're discarding anything because I got the Harvester again, so just get rid of one of the generic spoils. So good news, now we have 4 this turn. We've done better. And I have this one in my hand, which makes whatever I put on this card cost 2 less, which means that if with that one, I can buy something that costs 6 and put it there. Ongoing, Gravetender has 1... Ooh. Ah. That's so good bad. I don't think I've seen that card before. So this removes 1 spoil for every helm icon that's on this card. The problem is if I can only afford it by putting it on this card, which means that the only leftover slot is 1 leftover slot on the bottom. So the chance of getting it to actually get helms is limited. You'd want to wait until you could afford that one more legitimately. Meanwhile, this one actually gives you helms. Gain 1 victory for each helm on this card. Yeah. So the downside here is that the 2 things I can afford with the reduced price are both things that benefit from a really well set up card, and I'm spoiling that by having this garbage thing be there. Still, I could just get one of these for cheaper. Gain 1, it's another one of those. Well, this would be 2. This would be, that'd be 3, so I can't stack those. 1 blue for every crown on this card. Well, this one also has blue. Ah. This is a top, and this is a top, so I can't put that one on there. I could put this on there, giving me 1 crown. But I can't stack one of those with my current amount of money. And this doesn't help reduce its downside. Meanwhile, I also can't... none of the nice stuff is here, like the fields and flowers are not on the board right now, which gets us into some trouble too. Great. Huh. I'm not psyched about this card. But I mean, victory points are victory points. I might want to just grab this for its own sake. These are useless. No, let's just spend all 4 of them. I have to click this, don't I? Yeah, I don't have a druid. Click this first. I'm gonna put this on its own card. Yeah, let's start a new card just for this thing, and I'll start trying to put the helms on that over the course of the future turns. I could still put this here on this, because everything costs 2 less, so it's technically free, but it's just a useless... It's not a very useful effect. It's still worth a blue. It might be worth it just for that sake. But I'm probably going to want to save this for the ability to just bait more expensive things onto it. That's the question. Do I want to try to get more expensive things onto this card, or do I want to get a low-cost thing and just get more progress? I think I'm going to waste it and do this. It gives me the chance to make up for the fact that I've straight up skipped turns previously. Search for the... Yeah, discard anything you want. Get out of here. One of my cursed lands. I'm sorry, I wish I could remember the difference between those 2 icon types. Or if the game would explain them, for that matter. In its current state. These people have 2 grays and 1 blue. I don't remember what that does. Is there any kind of helpful... It is early access. It says that in the corner. It even says 0.0.1 Windows player. Definitely helps to already know how to play this game going in the current state. There was a prompt on the menu for a tutorial, so they're gonna surely add one later. Yeah, that's the one that's already been done. One upside of playing the card version is that you can read these without having to bring them up individually because they're just physical cards. So this is a terrible hand. I have 2 blues. Thanks, life. All I can do is get an enchanted chorus. Oh, Earth Chant chorus. Other advancements add to this card cost 2. It's the same thing as before. You know what? Sure. Why not? Oh, wait. There you go. You live here now. That's my hand again. So if you're confused why I seem to draw immediately, but then we wait for them to draw their stuff. Wow, their stuffs look scary. It's because of the fact that you actually do draw and manage all your cards in parallel. The only turn order in this game is the turn order for people purchasing things. So you purchase things in order, but you can actually do all your card management and drawing while other people are doing their stuff, which is useful because the whole like discard. One of the things that's handy about this digital version is that there's those features like discard one of your cards from the discard from your deck and then shuffle your deck. Like all that stuff being automated helps, but normally when you're all sitting around the table, that stuff's time consuming. So doing it all along the fly, being able to do that during other people's turns is helpful. So if you look at this guy, they're stacking blues on their other cards. That's an interesting one. That one's got a sheet. That's one. It's got a helm. It's got the gray thing, and it's got the sun. Yeah, they nabbed the field of flowers that I meant to buy, but I accidentally skipped my turn. That's one thing, is you don't tend to accidentally skip your turn in the tabletop one, though, because it's not a button. You're sitting around the table of people. It's like the Subnautica thing, like, oh, I really want to plant this plant, but I accidentally ate it with my face. Oh, I actually can't afford a single thing. Cool. Let's draw another card then and see how bad I get screwed over. I didn't get screwed over. Oh, isn't life grand? Alright, I'll take that Deadwood Harvester, the one that lets me... just discard any of the other card in your field. So let's just plop you right onto one of the good cards. So I want to be able to discard spoils with that. Yep, and here it is. That's a copy of this card, so I can discard anything in the current field. Like that cursed land. Get rid of that. Did I just draw another one? I can discard any other card in my field. I discard the other harvester. There's no reason to keep it around. No, I might want... Let's do cancel. Let's not glibly discard things, because I might want to put something on it. So now I drew 2 of the thing that lets me discard something from my current field. Now I drew the one that lets me discard something from my deck. So I'm pruning future draws while also getting rid of bad things in my deck. And now you can see how powerful that is, because I drew so many goddamn cards before I reached 3 spoils. Which is great. Once this turn, if you were to spoil, you may discard your on-deck card instead. So I have that. If I want to risk drawing another card. We're currently at 3 of 3. That one already applied, that one already applied. Cancel all but one. Yeah, it's not relevant to me right now. That's not relevant to me right now. Okay, so I do not have a backup druid. I have one Peacekeeper druid right now. I could risk drawing another one, because if we spoil, this thing will cancel it out. The risk is that I might draw another spoil at that point, in which case I then lose the all 6, and I've definitely made that mistake before. Here's where it helps if you do what you're supposed to do, which I never do, which is to count your cards. You count how many spoils you've drawn so far, and you know how many are in your deck. Therefore, you know your chances of actually drawing another one, and stuff like that. But I don't do that, because I'm a stupid. Gain 1. These things were 2 victory points. It has a naughty thing on it. Gain 1 blue for every other card in your field. I can afford that if I put it on one of the ones that reduce the cost by 2. This is a significant leap forward in my capabilities if I'm lucky. This one cancels all but 1 red, but I don't have another one, so it doesn't actually cancel any of the red on that thing. It's only on this card. Let's put on the other one. Let's put on, I'm not gonna risk this hand. I'm just gonna keep this good chance. You may discard any other card in your field when played. Ah, it's a 2 blue version of the other one. This thing looks really cool though. I want this. So put you right there. There we go. So it doesn't apply right now, but in the future when I draw this thing, I'll get 1 additional blue for every single thing in my field, which will significantly increase the value of that particular hand. And that might give me an edge to actually make some forward progress, because I'm probably losing in this game. Oh, that's how it works. Now I remember. That was 33, now it's 32. Because they drew one. There's that many total victory points in the game, and you draw them, and then when they run out, whoever has the most wins. That's the race part. So this guy has one, nobody else has any. I don't remember what the grays do, unfortunately. This is a bad hand. This is a bad hand. Okay, we got 3 blues. I drew 1 yellow. I don't know what the name of it is, but that's the icons on here. So if I had a yellow and a brown, I could have this card, for example. Once per turn, you may spend 2. Yeah, we read that before. There's no just 1 yellow on its own, but there are some pretty low-cost cards and some pretty high-cost cards, as you can see. Like, what does this do? If you were to spoil, you may discard this card to gain 1. Yep. So you discard this, and you gain 1 anti-spoil, basically. So it's a safeguard to build your best hand. Alright, well, I don't want to spoil, so let's draw... Ooh, a field of flowers. Who doesn't like a field of flowers? 1 blue for every crown. Yeah, so I want to make sure a helm's get on that. Let's not mess that one up. Let's plop the field of flowers on here. That'll increase the value of that hand later. The sound effects. Oh, this is a terrible hand. I can't even do anything with this hand. What a nightmare. Alright, that's 2 blues. Let's risk it. Oh, I spoiled, didn't I? Yep. Spoiled. Did I spoil on the good thing too? I would have just got 2 victory points if I... Well, I would have got 2 victory points next turn if I didn't risk that. Search and get rid of any one thing. Die. There's not a worse one, is there? I don't think I have anything worse yet. In my history with this game, as far as I can tell, pressing, like risking another card is so thoroughly and consistently a bad idea. It's just, I get punished for it every time I try it, I feel like. Oh, I did draw this. I thought I discarded this. Okay. Misinterpreted a rule, I guess. So when I play, as long as I don't spoil this turn, because I have not gotten those 2 points yet. I have to not spoil first. But if I don't spoil, I will get those 2 points, and I'll be in first place actually. In addition to whatever those are, I've lost track. I think the pips are how many players you're playing with. So if you play with a certain number of players, you use cards with a certain number of pips. I think that's how it works. It might be a series of decks that pace the game out. I'm not sure. Could be either one. This thing encourages me to have more blues on the field, because you gain 1 for every other card. But pressing for another one's a big risk, so I'm not going to risk that right now. Alright, so we have 4 to spend. Grassland. While in your field, you have 1 less blue. Yeah, that's not great, but it also undoes a spoil. The Grove Tender. That's the Helm one. I want to mix this one with the other one that's like that wants helms, but unfortunately the one I have is also a top one. Oh wait, that one would work. So if I can put this one on the same card as the one that also gives me blue for every helm on this card. Oh shit, this one doesn't come with its own helm though. Never mind. That's not synergy then. The Wellspring. It's useless for the deck building stuff, but it gives me a brown and a green, which means I could then buy a world tree with it when it draws next. I should probably start doing that. Yeah. Let's plop it on here. And see, now I have 2 blues. And they have 2, and they have 1. I'm tied for first right now, I believe. Unless I'm just messing everything up right now. Alright, so 3 spoils in a row right there. You will prevent a game-ending spoil if you get to happen. This is not currently doing anything for me besides being a blue. Let's risk it. I didn't draw one. I got a field of flowers, making our hand worth 2 more points. A Moonwolf. That's a cool card, but So they formatted the art. I think they're running into an issue here where the artwork looks like this originally. It's widescreen to fit 1/3 of a card for obvious reasons, because that's how the whole game's formatted. They wanted to be like, oh, it's a video game. We can expand it to be full screen, right? But it's not very well formatted, unfortunately. So like some of them are off center or they're out of frame and stuff like that. And it's just the problem of trying to make something that's horizontal, something that's landscape fit a portrait frame. It's leading to formatting problems like this snake here that's completely out of frame, and this guy who's half his head's out of frame and the other half of his head is covered by the text, which is not a problem with the original card size because the art looks like that. And it's really good art. I'm seeing it in high res here looks nicer than it does playing the game in real life, where not only is it very small in real life, but you're trying to squint through multiple layers of transparency, because every layer of card, like this frame as itself is itself a transparency layer of plastic, but then these layers as they're over each other also become additional layers of plastic, so the one that's on the bottom of the stack is the hardest one to look at. So this is a rare chance to actually get a better look at some really nice art, but when it's in this format, unless it's framed nicely like this, it's actually a little hard to make out what it looks like visibly. Look at that art. This is a really slow-paced, chill. I'm just hanging out during this video. I could be going so much faster, but I'm just kind of spending time with it. Yeah. Alright, so what do I want to do? This thing's worth 2, so I have a good hand already. I could risk a better hand because this thing will stop the first spoil that happens, but if the next card's also a spoil, I lose my relatively high-value hand. That said, is there anything I want right now with a 5-point hand? This thing will give me a spoil and a yellow and 3 victory points. That's a good thing to have in the deck, but it also starts getting us in trouble. It starts creating high spoiling cards. Either I'll be adding a new spoiling card to my deck, increasing the chance of spoils being drawn, or I'll be adding it to a card that already has spoil, making it a double spoil, making it way worse. This is where stuff like this comes in handy, but only if you can actually... That only nullifies it if it has more than one. Otherwise, it's just not really doing much. But having that in my deck will just be passively drawing victory points, even though it doesn't add much to the value of my deck itself. The question is, do I want to start gimping my deck and its ability to grow for the purpose of grabbing victory points faster, whereas people that hold off on buying this stuff for longer might be able to build a better deck that generates victory points even faster, but later. So like, will me getting a head start with a slower vehicle get me further than them waiting longer to get a faster vehicle, is basically the idea. Meanwhile, I can grab a wellspring and stuff like that. Or I could risk it. Ooh, you have a shield. I'm not a shield, the helm. And you're double blue. You're pretty good. But the thing that it wants, the thing I was trying to stack shields on is not here, unfortunately. Which is a bummer. Kind of want to keep that, though. Let's keep it. I'm going to plop you in. Also, I like wolves. I don't know if you've been, like, around. No! Oh, wait, I can cancel, right? Here, oh yeah, so it's here, it's like, you can discard any card in your deck, and this is the only card in my deck, is the really good one. No. Not. You may discard any card in your field. Oh, I'm drawing, never mind, that's not the deck one, it's the field one. What a, there's some RNG bad, oh, never mind, that's good luck. It was bad luck at first. It was bad luck that I was getting the, you can discard anything in your deck cards, but all I had in my deck was amazing cards I don't want to discard. And then, of course, I drew all the spoils after that when it was too late, which is too bad. But still, I have an 8-point hand, in part because of Field of Flowers. This is the one where I want to get shields on it, so I should keep an eye out for shields if I want to make that card better. This one's kind of irrelevant, although if I have a high spoil card, I can make it weaker. I don't think there's a lot of 2 spoils, though, in this game. Looking for shields. You're a shield, and a spoil, which is scary. But it's a shield, which would make you worth more things. Is there a better shield, though? One that doesn't harm? There isn't, huh? Too bad. You are worth a purple. Which is stuff I should be thinking about. Ooh. An anti-spoil for better hands? I do want those. Should I grab one? It would be my entire turn this time. It's a top tier, so I can't put it on this guy, which would make it cost less. Ah, there's also a magic seed. Ooh, one for every one in your hand, but it's also a bad. Still, it's pretty nice. It's tempting. Plenty tempting. I'm actually not very good at this game, if you couldn't tell. I mean, that's more blues than just adding, like this. If I add the Cobra to this, it just adds 1 blue to this thing. Although it is worth 4 victory points. Whereas this is worth 2 and adds blue for everything else. I don't know, I think I want... Oh, I can't add the Cobra to that thing, though, so the shield thing's irrelevant. I can't even stack the shields. Let's do the seed. It adds a spoil to my deck, but it also gives me a lot more blue overall, most likely. Can I add that to you? I can. That makes that a really high value card. There we go. Nope, red's pulling ahead. Oh, nope, I'm just losing now. It's 2, 3, 4, 1. And I drew the worst possible hand of 3 generic spoil cards with nothing else on them. And there's nothing purchasable for that many points. Great, let's risk it. Cool, I spoiled. Alright. This time I drew one of you. You don't... Do you count already? 1, 2, 3... You must count already, right? Every other card in your field. Well, if nothing else, it's worth a victory point, so I should just hold on to it for that purpose. Even though I can't buy anything. Alright. Give me my 2 blues. Discarding you. Wasn't I supposed to get my 2... Did I mix something up? Wow. Wow, I have a value of 10 right now. Okay. Yeah. And I can stop 1 spoil from happening potentially, but do I risk it? When I have a value of a hand this high. Alright, so I have 10 high of a value, and it's pretty much because of this thing. This thing's so powerful because it gives me 1 blue for every thing in my hand, including the shitty ones, like this blank card that isn't even a thing. This counts as 1 blue when this thing's in my hand. So it's a great card. What do you do? 2 victory points, 2 grays, and a purple. Purples must be high value. There's nothing to buy with purples, though. Are purples a wild card? Oh, you may use any of these as a purple. I think purple is wild card. It counts as anything, which means you can buy way better stuff up there. The Woodland Warren. Gain 2 for each... Gain 2 victory points for each crown on this card. Ooh, oh, I can't stack it because they're both bottoms. It's phrasing. There's the Wellspring. So with that Wellspring, I believe I could buy this if I want it. I don't think there's any reason not to buy it mechanically. I want this. It's... I just wish I had it with a different hand. I could start making a crown builder. Put helms on this to make this thing worth more and more points. It's just unfortunate that it's not going to be worth a lot for now, and it's going to use up my entire hand. Stacking with one of these guys would be great. Those are constantly around, so that would make it so it'd also be an anti-spoil. I'm gonna grab one of you guys and start a new card with you, and hope I can stack crowns with it. Ooh, I can afford you too. Harvest, gain 1 brown. So it's just worth an extra brown. This is worth 2 of these. I'm gonna grab one of these for now. There we go. So I believe the way these work is that they're always in play, basically. Let's see. Yeah, this is my hand. And this is my, like, land cards or whatever. These are passive things I'm drawing. So this is worth a passive 2 gray. Which I'm trying to remember what it does, but I figure I should get it. Oh, I wish I had a better concrete understanding of the rules, but I also thought that they'd give me a little more help. That's spending 4 just on a wild card, basically, which can help me buy stuff up here, which could be useful. Might be worth the risk. We currently have 7, so look at the stag. 2 crowns and a spoil. And 4 victory points. This is a conflicted card. It's a busy one. Ah, it's eventful. That'd be great for my crown cards, which I don't have right now. So that's the one that gives me bonus points. That's why I have so many right now. I'd love to buy as many of those as I can if they give me any more. And we have a seedling. There's no mega spoils for me to throw on it, really, though. And that's my entire hand. So if I put something on here, it costs 2 less. These are useless because they require crowns. This could be put on there to be worth 3 victory points, while only costing me 3 when I place it. If I put it on here. No, damn it, it has to be a bottom one. Only the druid song could be added to there for 2 points. And if I did that, I'd be left with 5, which is enough for one of those guys and nothing else. I'm gonna make up my mind if I want something that's higher end. Like this anti-spoil, which is pretty nice. Anti-spoil brown. Let's go for the big plays, yeah. I didn't think that through. I don't want to double my spoils, which is what'll happen if I put it on one of those. Shit, I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone for the other thing. I should have gone for the bear totem. I didn't think that through. I was like, oh, yeah, I was thinking the numbers, like, oh, that'll cost 2, and then this will cost 5, which is what I have left. But if I put them on one of these guys, I'll draw 2 spoils at once, which means we're thoroughly screwed. Nope, I have to live with that mistake and just waste my turn. Because I'm not comfortable with a double spoil card in my deck. That's a terrible hand. Thanks, life. Thanks. I can afford 1 thing, so I guess I'll get that. Doesn't have any bad things on it, at least. I'll just plunk that over there. Discard any bad thing. Cool. Oh, in my field. Yeah, okay. It's one of those. The Hive Swarm. What do you do? It's a spoil, 4 victory point crown. Okay, they're getting busy down there, aren't they? I have only 3 points right now. This will give me more if I can put crowns on it. Can I afford crowns? I have 3. I really only have 3 right now. I can't even afford anything with that. I'm gonna risk it. Ooh, good risk. Good risk. Play another one, because it'll let me discard something else. Okay, so now I'm back to 3. But now I've got a 4-point hand. Hooray. It's not amazing. Still can't afford anything, huh? I'll risk it again. Wow, that actually paid off. Being stupid isn't supposed to pay off that well, but it did. 1 anti-spoil. Oh, that's the one that's ooh. Gain 1 victory point for every crown on this card. Ooh, and that's the... Yes. That's what I want. No, it's the one from before where they're both top cards. Shit, I missed that. No! I want that and that, because then it's synergy, but they both are in the same part of the card, so it doesn't work that way. Ah. Ooh. If I put the Hulking Thornhide on here, this card lets me discard any other card when I'm playing it. That means that I can, if this one's risking me spoiling, I can get rid of the other spoil card that I've already drawn, which means that this thing becomes more valuable, more viable, while also giving me victory points. I like that idea. I can work with that. They're drawing a lot more stuff from the top row than I am, which is going to be what kills me, probably. I still only have one up there? Yeah. And all this does is give me 2 gray, which I have failed to understand correctly. I'm sorry. What am I highlighting there? Oh, I was highlighting that, and that said Peacekeeping Druid. So that'll give me a purple, which is a wild card. That gives me a green, so if something was green plus one other thing, I could buy it. Which is none of the ones up there. That one's worth... oh my goodness. So it's 7 grays, and it costs that much. Holy crap. The grays might also be victory points for all I know. Oh boy. So we have 3 spoils drawn. That'll give me 2 victory points. This is worth a shield, but doesn't actually affect anything. I have a hand of 9. Ooh, look at that. You look cool. Gain 1 victory point for every 2 cards in your field. That's pretty strong. It has a cost of 10, which is astonishing, but no negative side effects. With 1 more, I could afford it, which is a risky-ass proposition. This card is worth +1 gray for at the end of the game for each of those symbols on the card. But just the most stuff I can stack on this card, this thing becomes worth that many at the end. That's interesting. Here's the scary busy one covered in crowns. Where was the crown I don't have the crown oriented thing out me right now, do I? Yeah, I don't have the for every crown on this card effect. I could place on that or that, which would make them double spoils, which I don't want. Calm weather. Look at your next on-deck card. You may discard it. Ooh! A deck pruning card that's also an anti-spoil. That's pretty good. It would cost me 7 of my 9. There's not a 2 to buy, so that'd be all of them. That'd be my entire turn as a result. It's tempting. That's 2 victory points and a purple. Also tempting. I'm gonna go for the anti-spoil. And I can put it on the spoil card, making it no longer a spoil, basically. It self-nullifies that card. I'm probably losing terribly because I have a limited understanding of this game, but it's neat. Oh, did it just end? The Beast Brothers. I'm in 4th place! Can I look at their whole deck? I can. Look at all the stuff they built up. Look at them knowing what they're doing better. So yeah, the grays must be victory points. The grays must be worth victory points, but they're not the ones that count against the total number of ones in the game. I think that's the basic idea. Holy crap, they had a lot of build up. Alright, let's play one more round. Even though this is a long video. I'm just having some fun here. Let's do a bunch of videos, let's do easiest difficulty, one higher, 2 higher. Let's start there. I'll go a little faster this time. I just wanted to give it a... I was trying to give some introduction and then quickly reach the limits of how well I know the game, which was not great for all of us, but you know. Let's try to do a better job this time, you know? Let's see. The Wayfinder. It's worth a blue and it's worth a brown. Let's try going towards that idea. Let's start building towards getting the stuff up here a little bit better this time. So I'll grab you and I'll plop you onto one of the let's give you your own card, making the average card better. I haven't played this game enough times to have a good strategy for it. Other advancements cost less. I didn't really make good use of that last time around, did I? Didn't seem altogether super useful. If I could just get one more... That's tempting fate. It was blank. And I spoiled. I need to stop ever doing that. I was like, maybe I could buy 2 fertile soils. Nope, you idiot. That doesn't work that way. Don't do that, stupid. Alright, so now I got a 4-point hand. I got what I wanted, kind of, just a turn later. Grassland. Get one less blue, but one more green. Kind of worth it. Kind of a mess at the same time. This is worth a brown and a crown. I'm just gonna I'm gonna stack up a fertile soil. Ooh. Look how good this one card is. It's worth so many soils. What a terrible hand. 2 whole points. Thanks, life. Alright. I'll keep it though. And plop one of these down. Yeah, I drew the triple one. There we go. So we have a 5-point hand. We can look further down the line this time. 1 victory point for every crown on this card. I should start that for future use. I have no crowns in play because I haven't added any to my deck yet, so new card. I'll try to stack crowns on that thing to make it worth more. The Wayfinder. 3 points. Thanks, I guess. Let's stop risking it. I've been punished so many times for risking it. Oops. You're a bottom one, so let's start a new card. Make more of my cards better, since a lot of them are just coming out blank. Whoa, that was like half the deck. For only 4 points, because there's still so many blank ones. That can be my breakthrough to getting into the top row if I want to start buying those things. That can too, because it's I think what these are is that they're worth a victory point at the end of the game. So I think they're keeping track of how many grays you've added to your deck over the course of the game. So that's kind of like a victory point, but it doesn't subtract from the total and make progress towards the ending. But it's a wild card, letting me purchase better in the future. I'm leaning that way, so I need to pick between, do I want a wild card that's worth all of the different types, or do I want 2 of the types, which is very useful too, to give me access to this, for example. I'm gonna grab the variety one first. I could totally see myself spending more time with this in my free time, just kind of messing around. I have 4 points. And no special effects at the moment. I haven't added any special effects to my deck, really. Like, I don't have card discarders yet. You're the one I want to have crowns added to, so let's keep an eye out for crowns. You have a crown. You're worth 4 points. Ah, I can stack you 2 together, just like I was trying to do the entire previous game. Let's do exactly that. So now this is worth 1 victory point for every crown, which is 2 crowns now, and one blue for every crown, which is 2 crowns now, making it really good. It's a really good card. Meanwhile, I can have this. Harvest, yeah. Let's turn 2 of 1 resource type to a wild card. I don't think there's any reason not to buy it. I think the only reason not to buy stuff from the top row, when you can afford it, is just if you have something else you want to buy more. I think that's it, basically. What's going on? Oh, I've switched to the row. I'm like, where's my cards? I can only afford that, and I don't really want to plop that on one of these guys. That'll only make 1 purchase cheaper. Let's try 1 more. Oof. Oh, spoil. I wasn't gonna get anything for it though. Anyway, that's a good hand. That's an 8-point hand. That'll get me something. 8 points, 3 spoils. Okay, so we should stick with this. Ooh, Field of Flowers for more points is tempting. I could stack that with a 5-point thing, for example. Cancels all spoils on this card. That's not bad. Except I can't use it on any of my current spoils. Shit. The Swarm. That's a crown. I could add that to the other crown card if it was in my hand right now, but it's not. While also giving out 4 victory points. Ooh, discard any other card in your field. It's the other one I had, but stronger because it's worth 2 blues. And I could stack that with the podlings to give me a crown and a yellow. Yellow helping me purchase things. I should probably get those 2. Maybe even put them on the same card if I want to. They're both top row, so I can't put them on the same card. Should have looked at that better. I'll go with this though. You here. And I'll put it. Yeah. There we go. I'm in it to win it, damn it. I want to win a game. There's a harvester. I haven't had one of those yet. I like that card. Poor out of frame Moonwolf. They just had to pan you a little to the side. I have a hand value of 7. Ooh. That's good for the top. Ooh, that'll let me buy that guy. Any other? And I have a yellow, which means I could also buy this. Not also. I could buy either of them. So I have 2 greens and a yellow, which only that. So I can get that, or that. Shit. Oh, is that why they're all separated in blue right now? All right. You have a crown, but I don't have a goal for the crown right now. Alright, so just buy things. Yeah, let's not risk my hand. The plow, what do you do? You're great. A victory point and a blue and a green point and the other one. It's just an all good thing. Not great for my deck generation, really, but it's valuable across the board otherwise. This cancels all the bad on this card. There's more crowns that I could aimlessly add, but I don't actually have a system planned for them. Whereas the wellspring could just keep adding to my value and my ability to buy the things. Yeah, the plow's tempting, but adding a wellspring will mean that I have even more access to this top row, and I can start really stocking up on things. In fact, I could add it to... Did I just skip my turn again? I would recommend a admittedly it's just some it's definitely a problem of shit. It is definitely a problem exists between chair and computer, a situation where it is my fault, but I wouldn't mind a feature that's like, are you sure you want to skip your turn? You have like 5 unspent points. Like, ending your turn with 1 or 2 unspent points is really common because you can't afford anything. But if you can afford something and you're skipping your turn, it'd be cool if they added a prompt that there was like, hey... Or if they made it so that the skip turn button is a different location than the continue button. Just because I keep thinking like, okay, I'm ready to buy things now, and I click on that. I'm like, shit, I already clicked that. And now damn it. It's such a bummer, and I can, alright, I can't even afford anything right now. I should have pressed. Shit. Well, that's bad. That was going to be a really good turn. I was excited, and then I blew it. I didn't even buy the top row stuff I could have got. Damn it. Oh, that's like a game ruiner. That was a bad time. Oh, that's what these are. That's what this is. Yeah. In card games like this, there's different tiers of decks, and you're drawing from them in parallel. So these are the 1-tier cards, and these are the 2-tier cards and stuff. They're being drawn from the applicable deck. That ensures that there's a distribution of prices on the board based on how many pips they have. Like, all the 3-pip ones are expensive and high-impact cards, and these ones are low-impact cards. And you see there's 3 of each. There's 3 1s, there's 3 2s, and there's 3 3s. And that's because you have these 3 decks, the 1, 2, and 3 pip decks are all on the board, and you pull those out in order to continue. I think the game's saying that we have no more of these cards left in the game. The Fertile Soils. I think that's what this is saying. Is that we're out of Fertile Soils to buy in the entire game. Yeah. I think these are from these 2 decks or something. That was such a bad mistake earlier. Alright, I like a Cleansing Rain. Let's buy a Cleansing Rain. Yeah. I'm really bummed out about skipping my turn. Mindful Owl. This is basically a cleansing rain, but it's also worth 2 blues. So I have an 8-point hand net right now. Ooh. 2 yellows and a brown. Then 8 points otherwise. Cool. Okay. The Hive Swarm. It's tempting for the point count a little bit. I also really want to plow. So you have 8 points. I could stack a plow with a harvester or a field of flowers. Ooh. Yes. Let's do plow and field of flowers together. There we go. So stack those. I can afford right now a pool of light, which harvest gains me a purple. Let's do that. Once per turn, you may spend any 2. How many more do I have to spend? I have a that, and that. And that. What did you cost again? I spent 2 yellows and a brown. That was those ones. So I currently have... Are you indicating that I can use you right now? No, I can't use you. It's just glowing because it's unused. Okay. So I can't actually use it. I could have, I believe, but I spent those already. Cool. Good. And if you think you can play way better than me, then be my guest. Check out the game. I've never been particularly good at card games. They're really fun, though. And maybe you shouldn't discourage people enjoying a thing you like, too, by nitpicking their moves and making them not want to show themselves playing anymore. Yeah! If you were to... Yeah, this is a pretty nice card. It unspoils and it gives you a green. I was neglecting that other value it has, which is that it gives you a green for purchasing purposes. We're at 3 again. 1 yellow's not going to give me anything. I can avoid a podling, though, and stack it on there for 2 yellows. That's about it. Yeah, let's do that. And I can afford one of you guys. Sure. And go. You have to remember what's in this other area. You have to remember what these cards are and check back to them to use them, because they're off screen most of the time. Some of them are passives, like this guy, but these ones, I gotta like remember those and what value they give me. Alright, so we have 3 again. Which will not buy me anything. Yeah, the lowest cost one is only a 4. But I should probably risk it. Ooh. What's that one again? When played, search your deck for any card and put in your discard pile. Huh. Does it work immediately? Oh, cool. Now I know that my deck is completely safe, so I'll discard this one. And I'll draw the other 2 cards. There we go. Alright, so I have a hand value of 5 right now. If I draw the next thing, I get in trouble, because it becomes the unknown. It'll reshuffle the deck and draw from that, and I don't know what'll happen. So if I think I can use this, I should keep it. Not a great hand, though. I could go for one of those, or I could get the one that just removes the soils. What the bummer with that is that it makes the card a waste. Like, I buy this, it cancels the bad thing on the card, and then I guess the card's still worth 1 blue. It's just it's 2/3 used up. I'll go for it. I'll at least be able to buy stuff on the top row this turn. Alright, so we have a few choices here. Let's look at our budget. What's our budget? 1 green, I just noticed this. 1 green, 1 brown, 1 wild card. So That's why I'm able to afford a 2 brown, a yellow brown. That's wild card and brown. That's wild card and brown. That's wild card and green. And that's actually what I have in my hand, is a brown and a green. This gives me 2 of those. I have too many of that. This gives me 1 more yellow for purchasing purposes, increasing my overall purchasing value. This game is really similar to the gem game I was talking about for those mechanics at least. I can't remember what it's called though. But that game is also available on Steam. I think from this developer, I think, if I remember correctly, they already made that one too into a game. If you were to spoil, you may discard this card and gain 1 green. So it's a one-off. Admittedly, what I'm spending is to get it is free, but I think you lose this card permanently once it stops you from spoiling. But stopping me from spoiling is pretty good. Alternatively, I have a shit. No, I can't do anything with this. I was thinking I could use one of these guys to turn into a wild card, but that won't get me anywhere. Let's increase my spending power. Oops. There we go. That's increasing the spending power in the future. See, I'm at 10, 8, 9, 15. Alright, I'm losing, but not by as much as before, at least. 12-point hand! 12-point hand with 2 green, 3 yellow, 2 brown, and a wild card. My god, you're a busy hand. Double checking for any status effects I should be aware of in this hand. Wow, yeah, I drew the high value cards that are completed. No special conditions to look out for. Nope. Alright, so let's look at what I can do with this hand. Let's also click that and remember very carefully not to click it again. That's a 2 victory point wild card thing. Unfortunately, I'm underpowered on grays, which means I'm not in a great condition for winning the game. It's 2 grays and 2 blues, and it gives me a victory, a resource to spend. That's a pretty good one too. Oh boy. Every crown on this card. What's the crown one I had? That one's already filled in already. Oh wait. I think you can place these over existing cards. I think you can... let you do that? No, it doesn't let you do that. I thought it did. I thought you could override previously entered ones. I can combine a Grove Tender with a Hawk, which would be 10 of my 12 points, which is basically all of them. And that would give me all the benefits of the Hawk without the downside of the Hawk, basically, with the ability to eventually add another crown to it to make it an additional green. Is that worth it ultimately, though? It gives me 2 victory points and 2 grays and a brown purchasing power. Alternatively, this one gives me a victory point for every crown, which I could stack with the crow, with the hawk, giving us making this thing worth 3 victory points plus any more I add in the future, while giving us a yellow and a brown, making it a pretty good card. Otherwise, I can go for higher value things for more risk. I could also mix a Calm Weather with a Hulking Thornhide, giving us 3 victory points, a yellow and a green on one card, and 2 gray victory point bonuses. I do like the look of that one. Ooh. Let's make this a really scary card. There we go. So now every time this card is played, we can choose to discard the next card in our deck if we want to. It has no effect on my spoils, but it gives me 2 green, a yellow, and a brown, and 3 victory points, and I have 2 grays in my deck now. That's all in one go. So now I can spend these guys. I have 2 greens, 3 yellows, 2 browns, and a purple. Gain 2, and you may buy a 3rd advancement this turn. Damn. This just gives me 2 blue. This just gives me 2 blue every time I harvest. That's crazy. This is a wild card every time I harvest. This is really high level here. This is worth 7. Ooh, I should probably do that. Like, regardless. 11, 12, 14, 16. This puts me in the lead. I should probably do that regardless. Yeah. Alright, so what's left? I currently have 1 wild card and 1 yellow, so I can still buy one of these guys. I'm bummed out though, this is so good and I want it, but this is how you win the game. If you were to spoil discard this, I should probably get that one. Yeah, I already have the other one so many times. Alright, so now I've got a lot in my passives deck now, or whatever you want to call it. So it's getting nice and busy. I might win this time, which I've never done before. I only ever played one game in real life. I think I only played 1 game, I don't remember. It's way more time consuming in real life because you have to shuffle the decks and search your deck manually constantly. This is kind of a chill version. You can face off against increasingly difficult AI. Because let's be honest, I can't really tell what they're doing that closely, but unless I want to look at it personally and look at like, damn, look at what a card you got there, bastard. But frankly, yeah, when I was playing with the other players, I don't think we were looking at each other's decks very much either. It doesn't feel like a multiplayer game when you're playing multiplayer, which is my biggest criticism of it. Terrible hand. Holy shit. I straight up can't afford anything. Ooh. You let me draw that. We're good. Discard any card in your field. Yeah, get rid of those guys. That turned from a bad hand to a good hand. So now it's worth 5 points. And this will stop me from spoiling. Ooh, okay, now it's a 6-point hand. And that'll stop me from spoiling if I spoil. That's the thing I was trying to add crowns to. Do I risk it? If I draw the next thing and it spoils, we're fine. But if I draw the next thing and it spoils, then we're dead. Can I add a crown to this thing for 6 points, for example? Oh, Hawk. Where's the crown guy? You wanna, yeah. Add that Hawk to it. I'm gonna stop here before risking something. Shit, you're not in play yet, I forgot. It's the one on top of my deck, it's not in play yet. That was a mistake. Shit. Yeah, one anti-spoil for every crown, but I don't have any crowns. I should just buy an anti-spoil, probably. Druid Song's kind of tempting. This just makes my hands stronger, though. Like, outright. I can even just plop it on one of these guys. That's how I got the really long hand before that had so many cards, is this kind of stuff was invalidating the bad things. Alright, so I have, Alright. So, green, yellow, wild card. I could turn 2 things into a wild card, but nothing that I already have access to all the 2-point things, so it's pointless. World Tree is just worth 2 grays. Ooh, 1 more harvest. That's also worth 2 grays. It's the same as that one, isn't it? Just a different lore icon, I guess. Let's get the one that's 1 more harvest. Search your deck to discard? Yes. Cursed lands are bad. Oh my god, how many cards did I just draw? Oh, I'm in the wrong deck. There we go. Yeah, I thought it looked like a lot. How are we doing on the leaderboard here? I have 21 points. 16. Ooh, 25. And 30. Okay, I'm losing. I'm losing pretty hard. Shit. I'm losing, but we're only halfway through the blues so far. But those can get drawn really fast in later turns, which we might already be in. I want a crown on this thing. Did they take the crown away that I wanted to put on there? They totally did, didn't they? Yeah, it was a hawk that was on the bottom. That's not happening. And that's a top crown, so I can't put it on that card. I just want to make you a really cool card. I just want you to be a really cool card. Ooh, if I put a bad thing on the top of this one, the bad goes away. Like you. I should get the full value of that. Yeah. The problem is that just makes the game end faster and I'm not about to win. So that'll get me in trouble, ultimately, won't it? Ooh, you. Better buying power while also giving me... and I can invalidate that while I'm going at it. Yeah. There we go. So neither of... Yeah, cancels all... yeah. So neither of those count. But I'm getting that, and I'm getting that. And I'm getting the 1 blue for everything else in your field. That makes that a very powerful card. Cool. We have 3 yellows, a brown, and then a wild card. Giving me access to the entire board. 3 victory points. That's the one I can't afford. Shit. I have no greens. And can't do much about that. You turn any 2 into a purple, right? Oh, you spend 2 blue to then spend one of those on purple. I was forgetting how that worked. It's actually kind of expensive to use. In addition to being... Oh, I could have made that work if I didn't spend everything. You spend 2 blue to turn anything else into a purple, which means I could have eventually afforded this, which would have given me 6, giving me a better chance at winning. But for now, I've blown it. That's an extra green for harvest. Use any card in your field and oh, it gains 1 crown to the end of the turn. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, definitely have to remember to spend that every turn. You're just worth 3 points. If I buy that, I am left with a yellow and a brown, which means I can still buy that, which isn't amazing. That's too many copies of the same card, kind of. If I spend this one, I end up with a yellow and a wild card, which could be that. So I can buy both of those. Or not, I miscounted. I super miscounted. Oh well. Do you want to discard this good thing? No. I do not want to discard the good thing. Do you want to discard these other things? Yes. Man, they're doing a lot of stuff down there that's scary. This person has 37 points now. I don't think I'm going to beat them. So I can add a crown to anything this turn using this other thing. Did it cost anything to use? Yeah, just once per turn. Just add 1 crown to anything. I don't think I have any crown conditions on the board. I don't really have conditions on the board. These are all really flat cards. Oh well. But I have 11 points to spend. I could buy Aurora. Gain 1 blue for every 2 victory points. I'm gonna lose though. That's the power of the gray, is those guys have so much gray that even if I burn through the blues, I'll ultimately lose. Right now it's not in my interest to get more blues, because I am so far behind that I'll lose, ultimately. But that's why they're probably churning through to get them as fast as possible. Ooh, look at how many shields that's worth. If only I had something that wanted them. This is worth 1 more at the end of the game for every other icon. Ooh, do I have a perfect occasion to... No, I don't. My whole top row is full except for that one. So it'll be worth 2 plus those 2 icons. Is there something I can add to it? Nope. We only have high cost cards left, basically. Alright, that's not great. Meanwhile, this thing adds an exhaust, which is not great news for me. This thing's very powerful. That would cost 8, so I'd be left with 3, which I can't use. This one at least doesn't kick me in the face. There's a lot of exhaust on the screen right now. I should suck it up. This is the highest victory points I can get right now without eating into the blues. It's worth 4 if I add it to this one. Let's just do that. That'll at least get me closer. That's the best I can catch up. Meanwhile, you are worth 6 points, which is why I should buy you. I can't. Or can I? I have 4 greens. I have 2 greens and a variable. I can spend my last 2 blues to spend one of those things on something else, which would be good. Looks like I want to keep yellow because everything else is pretty much yellow. So let's spend one of my browns. So I'm gonna go for one of you guys. Use. I turn a brown into a purple, which costs me 2 blue points. Now I can buy this for 6 victory points. We're trying to catch up, damn it. And now I can pick one of these guys worth a... I mean, this one's worth 1 victory point and a green. This one's worth a purple, which lets me buy more cool stuff up here in future turns. So oh, but there's only 1 blue left. I'm not going to get another turn, so let's get this one that's worth a victory point, I guess. This is over. I mean, that was a decent turn, I think. I have 39 points, damn it. Fear me. Yeah, we lose. Hey, I won. That was... Oh, I tied. I tied with the Dawn Seekers. Whew, that last turn was the entire turnabout, and it was dependent on me realizing that it was going to be the last turn, so I should get that one last point, which made me win. Hey! So yeah, guys, this is Mystic Vale. An unusually long Let's Try video, because tabletop games are time-consuming, and also I wanted to do a second round after the kind of botched teaching round that I did. But yeah, check it out. You can buy it on Steam. Maybe on phones, I don't know. It says Windows Player, which indicates that they might be making other versions, and it seems like the interface naturally fits with a iPad or something, and the icon in the corner was like the one they always use for iPad games, so I don't know. But you can also buy a physical copy of it to play with your friends, even though it's kind of like dual. It's an interesting game to play. I just feel like the parts that are interesting about it aren't inherently multiplayer, if you know what I mean. Weird hiccup. Thanks to the developers for sending me a copy of the game, and thanks for watching like always, guys. See you next time.